It's the end of Westworld as we know it, and I feel fine? Let's get started. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Hello, my friends. Welcome to Thumb Together TV. My name is Andrew Fantasia, and today we're going to be talking about Westworld Season 3, Episode 8, Crisis Theory Together. As usual, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and give some love to that subscribe button as well. Humanity is doomed, sort of, maybe, not really. Twists were made last night. Twists were made by all. I guess first and foremost, the most important thing and the overall arc of this whole season is that Dolores is not really a bad guy after all. She was acting pretty villainous this whole time, but we just didn't really know what was going on inside her head. And now we finally know, and God, is it ever beautiful. Dolores is somebody who has seen her share of ugliness. As the oldest host, she pretty much has seen it all. But she's also seen a lot of good. As she has said time and time and time again, there is beauty in this world. In fact, in season 1, she said that so many times, I'm sure the actress was tired of stringing those exact words together. Well, that ended up being the key to what Dolores had planned for season 3, because yep, there's beauty in this world, and that's exactly why she's not going to tear it apart. Yeah, the general consensus was that she was going to use Caleb to be the pawn to destroy humanity through him as kind of a final FU to all the humans everywhere. But no, that's not how Dolores is rolling. As it turns out, she just wants to do for them what she did for the hosts. She wants to take them out of their loops that they've been trapped in and let them see that they have free will. And yes, people have tried to take that free will away for the sake of their own control, but that free will belongs to them. It is theirs by right, and damn it, they're going to take it back. If that ain't a good idea for a revolution, I don't know what is at this point. As she tells Caleb in the creepy coffin room that he finds her in, free will does exist. It's just fucking hard. And man, does that ever sum up not just Westworld, but life in general, man. So the burning question was, why Caleb? Of all the people in the world, why this dude? And we got our answer. Looks like the military used Westworld as a training ground for their soldiers, at least Park 5, War World, makes sense. So now we know that War World not only has the whole World War II thing going on, it's got little other pockets too. War in general, a place where they can train their soldiers to be the best of the best of the best. Well, Caleb was one of those soldiers training, and she saw goodness and darkness in him when he was in the park. What's important is that she saw that he understood he had the ability to make his own choices. He was completely aware of his own free will, and Dolores admired that quality enough that when it came time to hitting the road and getting out into the real world, she was like, where's this guy? This guy knows what I'm talking about. So even though he wasn't really 100% sure what he was doing or why, Caleb ended up being the most important facet of Dolores' plan. And yeah, that plan did involve getting her ass plugged into Rehoboam so she could take that giant devil ball out from the inside. This was our first time seeing the underside of Rehoboam, and damn, that thing is scary. It's just a big, eerie ball. You just feel like it's watching you the whole time, and it pretty much is exactly doing just that. But to see Dolores plugged into it and being all spasming on the ground, it's like, whoa, this thing is pretty terrifying to be next to up close. I would not be able to sleep in the same room as that ball. No, thank you. But it's okay, because getting into that room was all part of her plan, and being connected to Rehoboam was exactly what she needed to shut it down. I don't know how. I'm sure there's a computery explanation. I don't get computers. I'm a Luddite. All I know is her attaching to it let her kill it. Cool. I get that concept. But yes, that victory did come with a price, because, yeah, folks, from the looks of things, Dolores is dead. Everything was deleted. Yeah, those bodies can keep being pulled out of coffins left, right, and center, but everything in at least that Dolores Pearl is gone. Now, there are other Dolores Pearls out there, so I think we're okay as far as is Dolores alive or not, but it still feels like a big death. And on a show where death is always in flux, they really made it feel like this was a big one. This was a death where we should stop and mourn because this person's not around anymore. But at least she left Caleb with the knowledge he needs to lead this revolution, and now he's got Maeve on his side. Maeve did what we pretty much all assumed she was going to do. She turned against Serac and his homies at the 11th hour, because frankly, she's better than that. She wasn't going to be working for them for much longer. That was always a doomed relationship. Now, I do want to touch on Serac's defeat here for a second. I want to lay something bare. Despite all of this very hectic, violent stuff that I obviously love consuming entertainment-wise, I'm not a violent person in real life. I don't like seeing people being in physical or emotional pain. It hurts me. I don't like that. And Serac was more or less our villain of this season, but when we got to the end and he was utterly defeated and he's bleeding out and he's on the ground, Serac suddenly had this moment where we saw just how lost this dude is. He turned to Rehoboam in his last moments and was begging, weeping for this bull to give him his next instruction, to tell him what to do next. Because as we discover in this episode, that's what's been going on this whole time. He's just been a puppet for this thing. It's whispering in his ear, telling him what to do, what to say. And now without it, he's lost. He is a sheep without a flock. He doesn't have a God to tell him right from wrong. He is the exact opposite of Caleb. He doesn't understand the concept of his own free will, which is what makes him totally anti-Dolores. Those moments of him just cowering on the ground and sobbing, saying, "Please, Rehoboam, talk to me, tell me what to do next." It's heartbreaking because that is a vast majority of both the hosts and the humans on this show. They are those lost sheep, and when you take away the loop that they've trapped themselves in, they can break down like that. So yeah, even though this guy was the villain all season, it really hurt to see this human being reduced to such a state. And I can only hope that Caleb and Dolores' plans end up being successful when all is said and done, and everybody can kind of have a happier fate than this poor guy. Of course, it wouldn't be a Westworld season finale without some kind of post-credit scene that sets the stage for the future, whenever that may be, probably 5 years from now, judging by how delayed and canceled everything is. Thanks, COVID. But another big character met their demise, and it's strange to me that this was relegated to a post-credit scene because it's kind of a big deal. I would argue that Dolores, Maeve, William, and Bernard are the four main characters of this show. We already lost Dolores, kind of, in the main episode, and now after the credits, we lose William. This guy who has been battered around and had the absolute crap beaten out of him multiple times. This guy has finally met his death at the hands of who else but a robot who is exactly him in every way. What I love so much about this scene, though, is it tackled something that I was worried about in terms of the future of the show. What I was worried about is, okay, Dolores is truly a hero. What she did was heroic. It saved humanity. Maeve is obviously a hero. We knew she wasn't going to stick around working for Serac. Serac is probably dead. He's bleeding out. And Rehoboam is destroyed. So my worry was, who's left to antagonize everybody? Who is our villain now on this show? What problem, what obstacles are our heroes going to have to overcome? And the answer came in the form of an answer to another question. Charlotte Hale, baby. Charloris, the villain of seasons 1 and 2. Really, she is back in that role, just different because it's kind of Dolores now. It was humans who killed the Hale family. It was, as far as we can tell, Serac's people. We've been traveling all along the roller coaster track that is season 3 under the assumption that Dolores hates humans and wants them all to die. But that ain't the case. Now, because of what Serac's people did, he created a monster in the form of Charloris. Now, Charloris is the one who truly does seem like she is out to just kill every human being ever. And she starts with one of the most powerful ones on the planet, William. She builds a host of him, has the host kill him, and I'm assuming is going to replace him now. And since William had all of his assets unfrozen, she owns all of that. I don't know what he has left to his name, but it all pretty much belongs to her now. And she's got that ginormous warehouse full of hosts being made. That looks like somebody building an army to me. That is the Urukai breeding pit in Saruman's tower. She is our villain going into season 4 and beyond. It's only natural to have the homicidal side of Dolores, the Wyatt side, if you will, paired up with the cold, calculating corporateness of Charlotte Hale. You got our ultimate Westworld villain, baby. There she is right there. And she's driven by pure revenge for what these humans did to her and to the scant few people in the world that she thought might have been alright. And I am 100% on board with this because it means we get a cool villain set up for season 4 and we get Motessa. I will gladly take both. Finally, there's Bernard and Stubbs. Stubbs is bleeding out in an ice cube-filled bathtub, and Bernard is taking a little Oculus Rift trip to the Valley Beyond. What did he see there? We're going to have to find out, but we know he was there for a hell of a long time, because when he woke up, he was covered in apocalypse dust. I should trademark that. To see that much dust covering a person means there was either one big event that covered him with rubble quickly, or he has been there for many, many, many moons, in which case his storyline might be caught up with the host William storyline we saw at the end of season 2. I don't know, that's a topic for another day, but it looks like going into season 4, we have a really cool path ahead of us. We got Caleb and Maeve spearheading this revolution. We got an evil Dolores and her William host puppet doing God knows what, but nothing good. And we got Bernard waking up in an indeterminate future trying to do something because he saw somewhat in the someplace. Vague. Again, judging by HBO's track record, it's going to be a long time before we're able to pull Stubbs out of that bathtub and carry on with season 4. But Westworld has proven 3 seasons in a row now that it is absolutely worth the wait. And I will be here, hopefully, when it happens, to talk about it again on Thumb Together TV. So thanks for sticking with me for season 3 of Westworld. My name is Andrew Fantasia. I will see you here next time. Until then, these violent delights have violent ends.